He is accused of helping a man get away with murder. Now Henry Smith faces a judge in Virginia Beach.
Prosecutors say he helped Andre Bigby escape, allowing him to make it all the way to California. Bigby is accused of killing a 19-year-old at the oceanfront back in February. Today we learned how Smith allegedly helped Bigby escape.
And Stephen Graves was in court today.
Yeah, that's right, guys. We really learned about how police had to piece things together here. We're talking about cell phone calls as well as surveillance video from other states to keep Smith in jail. But his defense says it's a weak case. A court hearing full of new details into why Henry Smith is behind bars, accused of trying to help a man get away with murder, enough for a judge to move his case forward.
Today was kind of a little bit of relief.
Relief, but it gave few answers for Jalen Harris's family. Back in February, the 19-year-old father was shot near the oceanfront and later died.
He was loved by everybody.
Police started looking for 30-year-old Andre Bigby for murder, but they had trouble finding him. A detective said Bigby called Smith right after the shooting. Soon after, police say Smith met up with Bigby's girlfriend in Hampton multiple times. There, she would give him Bigby's wallet, clothes, and cell phone. Police say Smith was soon found twice on surveillance at a store in North Carolina, near where Bigby has family, suspected of bringing him the items. Smith was arrested, charged with accessory back in Virginia Beach. We heard in his recorded interview in court, he told detectives he wasn't a snitch. Bigby was eventually found in a deserted part of California. Smith's defense says none of this means he knew about Bigby's murder charge. We still don't know if Jalen knew the two suspects, but his family just has one question.
What really took place? Why Jalen's not here?
Now, Bigby has yet to be brought back to Virginia. Meanwhile, Smith had a short bond hearing. A judge said, though, he will stay behind bars. Stephen Graves, 13 News Now.